Alright, so let's talk about some important properties of inheritance. First, a subclass cannot access the private members of a superclass. And second, each class can have at most one superclass, but each superclass can have many subclasses. So if we follow the parent-child analogy, we can say that uh, one child can have at most one parent, but one parent can have many children. Next is a subclass constructor can call a superclass constructor by the use of super before doing anything else. And if you do not call a superclass constructor, the no argument constructor is automatically called. So let's see these last 2 points side by side in an example. So we have an implicit call to super where we have a one dim point that has an integer x and a one dim point constructor which sets x to 3. And notice that this constructor is a no argument constructor. Then we have an method getX that will return getX, which is condensed to one line. And we also have a two dim point that extends one dim point, which has an integer y. And this will automatically call one dim point constructor. How? As soon as we make a call to this will call the one dim point first, which will set x to 0, and then we'll come back and set y to 4. Okay, so next we can see how we can make an explicit call to super. So again, one dim point, but this time we have a constructor which takes one argument, start x, that will set x to start x. Then we have two dim point that extends one dim point, which has an integer y, and does have a two dim point constructor which takes start x and start y. And we're gonna make an explicit call to super constructor. So calling super with exactly one argument start x will call the one dim point constructor which takes one argument. So that will set x to start x. Then finally we can set y to start y. All right, let's see some examples in the editor. So earlier we said that a subclass cannot access the superclass members which are private. So what happens if we set the both width and height to private? Will triangle be able to access them? So let's see if it will work or not. So we get an error where it says width has private access in shape. So how can we fix that? So if a member is private, we need proper access through setters and getters methods. Okay, so let's go ahead and build our setter and getter methods. Here are getter methods and setter methods which will return width and height, and also this will set width and height. Okay, so what is left is that in our area program, instead of directly accessing width, we can get width with get width method. Okay, so we can say get width, and instead of height, we can say get height. All right. So also, if we move down a little bit, here we're trying to reach width and height directly. So this will no longer work either. So we can say T1 get width, and then T1 that get height. And okay, so one last thing. Okay, so now we can only use get width and get height. to, okay, let me fix it. We need to set width and set height. Set width and set height. We can only use this to change them, and we can only use get width and get height to get them. So let's go ahead and rerun this and see if our program will work. All right, looks good so far. So we can run, and the program is again works as expected.